Hi friends, in our time together today, I'm going to share my practice session of getting to know John Ryan's polka a little better. I introduced it the other day and I'll put a link at the top and a link at the end of this video so that you can access the introduction to this tune if you've not learned it yet. And today I just want to share the reality of me trying to learn this tune a little better. Now I have worked on a couple of things, but not too much. I'm still in the early stages of picking the tune up, and so I want to share that with you. And the lights are a little different today because the remnants of Hurricane Helene are passing us by, and it's a little dark and crazy at 10:30 in the morning. So fascinating time outside. I decided I should record because I really want to go out for a walk in this, and I know that that's not a smart thing to do. So anyway, I hope you all are well and are safe if you have been or are in the path of the storm. A couple of things as we get started. I'm going to practice on both I'm going to do my Wild Irish High D and actually my MK Pro Low D for this tune. And learning in community is so helpful. You probably remember, if you saw it, one of the great members of our community recommended, when we were talking about trying to eliminate some of the hand cramping you get playing some low D whistles, that it's good and helpful to actually do some of your practicing and learning a tune on your high D. And then after you get that kind of embedded in yourself, you pick up your low D and get your fingering for the low D and get a feel for the low D. And you're not spending all your time on the low D, your hands cramping up some while you're just working on embedding the tune into your brain. I love that idea. Community, it's brilliant. With that said, I'm going to start off using, as I said, my Wild Irish High D. And so I just want to walk us through, again, my learning the core of the tune. So the very first thing I do when I am learning a tune is I try to dial it back and learn the core of the tune. So I will start off and just play at a speed where I can play every note. Now I have already kind of learned in my brain the tune. See, I didn't want to take you to that process because I thought this would be a little more helpful. And now I did share earlier today, and I'll put a card at the top for this, Nathaniel Dow did a great video on how he sticks a tune into his brain from listening to it. That was really helpful. So I kind of have it in my brain. And so, but I want to walk through and see to get it in my fingers. So I think I got the tune, and I actually suppressed my desire to mess around with it, because if I stick into my brain and my fingers an ornamented version of the tune, then that's what I'm playing. but I want the ability and the opportunity to ornament it how I'm feeling in the moment. So I need the core of the tune. So I know from my trying to stick this into my brain a bit, that there are a couple of bits that I have trouble with and I try and play it faster. For example, that run. So what I'll do there, I need that run into my fingers because it's, and it gets a little, so that I'm having a bit of a hard time getting all my fingers up at once. So I will work on that and listen for it to be clean. And I'll do that as long as I need to do it. And I'll put the whistle down and I'll come back and I'll do it again. And like, really, I'll just go. And then I get a little, like, it quits making sense. And so I walk away and I come back and I do it again. Because I want that run to be clean. You could cheat. You could do like a little roll there and it'll sound fine. But I want the real notes in there. I want to know them. So I learn the tune and I try and pick up the pace. I've said this before, but again, that's what I do. I do it all the time. So I pick up the pace. And if I stumble, I work the phrase. And then I dial it back. And this is when I start adding some ornamentation in. And what I'm thinking is that first punch, well, that was a little too hard, got squeaky. You could just hit it like that, or I'm currently feeling it's a bit dancier to me, especially if you're playing with other people and somebody's banging on a bodhrán there. See, I cheated. And then from the low D to the high D, I did a little kind of fun run. Because you don't want to do exactly the same ornaments all the way through. If every time I get that double high D, I did, that's good, but let's do something different now and then. Man, I'm having trouble with that. I'm going to work on that more. And I'm going to go to the B part. I'm a little more comfortable with it because that run is what's messing me up. So I'm seeing some bouncy ornaments and a slide or two. Okay, so sometimes, I'm going through there and I slowly, and then I try a little faster. I find the bits I need to work on. I'll start throwing in some ornaments. I'll back it off a bit. And then as I've said before, I'll play it a little faster than I actually can, and I'll just keep going. And then that helps as well. Then, low D time. I've got the MK Pro. I'll just play it through once or twice, and so I do that. And I can't always replicate what I've done on a high D on the low D because the low D is a different beast and I want to do it slightly differently. So we'll see what I do. could tell I need to work on experimenting with the ornamentation more. Sometimes ornaments, what you're comfortable with, just flow out of your hands, and I want to encourage you to do that. Just let it happen. But also, I also think it's important to think it through. Think what the emotion is conveying of the ornament you select. Now, if I'm having a hard time double punching that, that's why I'm going to put like, since it's a D, I can't do a roll, so I do a crayon, something above. Where do I want to, I need to, that phrase, it's important to try it a couple of different ways. You might, I feel like I'm doing that, but is that really what I want to do? So I need to force myself to try different things and then put it in the flow and see what really sounds better to me from a dancey standpoint. So there at that last phrase before the repeat at the end of part A, we've got all kinds of ways to try it. So clean. On the bounce up notes, or you could put some ornamentation on the bounce down. You could put a little run, but you've just come out of a run. Maybe I want to put the run on that second half of that measure. So on the first half, on the second half. See, experiment and try and see different things and what they do. And then dial it back on your low D. Make sure you've got the tune well. Work on those silly runs. As much as you need to. This is a good time to go back and nail the core of the tune again, and then start experimenting with the ornamentation again, and then pick your speed up and see where you are. Wash, rinse, repeat. Just go through that process, and after a while, you'll start being comfortable. I would say I'm at this moment close to the end of the early stages, but I'm not yet I'm starting to experiment with ornamentation and expression variation, but I'm not really there yet. I've not yet become comfortable with all my options, but I need to work on that. That's where I am. So friends, walk through, learn the core of the tune, pick up the pace a little, work on your trouble spots, pick up the pace on the entire tune. Even if you're stumbly, do it. Come back and start adding in some ornaments. Experiment with the ornaments and decide what you want, and then try and see how you're doing. And if you need to, wash, rinse, and repeat. I hope this helps you, my friends. The process of learning a tune can be very personal, but there are things we need to go through. You need to get that core of the tune nailed, and you need to then experiment with how you want it to feel. So please give yourself the freedom to do that. Have a great time learning to play a tune. Experiment. You're a musician. Just get into it and have a blast. Come out the other end knowing how to play something like John Ryan's polka in a way that you are going to find really, really fun, that you're going to want to go back to. Until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling.